Is exercising hard better for preventing dementia? Or is enjoying reading more advantageous? This question is not just simple curiosity. For some, it is as urgent as the weight of life itself. One day, my mother forgot my name. The name I thought she would never forget. That moment came to me. Her eyes were still warm, but within them, I had become a stranger. How can I describe that pain? She had been a teacher for 30 years, remembering the names of countless children. When she called each child's name from the attendance book, she always used to say, "Teacher remembers your name because it means you are precious." But now, that very mother forgot my name. Yesterday, she forgot how to hold a spoon. Today, she even forgot her daughter's name. Watching her memories disappear one by one. Dementia is no longer someone else's story. 1 out of 10 elderly people has dementia, and the number grows every year. To be slowly erased from the memory of a loved one. Perhaps that is a farewell more painful than death itself. But there is hope. A man in his 70s. For 30 years, he has climbed a mountain every morning. Rain or snow, he has never missed a day. When I climb, I feel like I'm in my 40s again. His eyes still shine like youth. Meanwhile, a woman in her 60s. Since her youth, she has had the habit of reading 2 books every week. When I open a book, I travel the world. Every time I meet a new story, I get so excited I can't even sleep. Her face, too, carries the glow of youth. Researchers measured the brain age of these 2 people. The results were astonishing. Their brains were as much as 15 years younger than their real age. Their memory and cognitive abilities were far above their peers. But the most surprising thing was this. The brains of the exercise lover and the reading lover became younger in completely different ways. The man who exercised consistently. MRI scans showed his brain blood flow matched that of someone in their late 20s. The activity in the hippocampus, which manages memory, was 47% higher than average for his age. At first, I just wanted to be healthy, but then my memory kept improving. I used to forget what to buy at the market, but now I remember everything. I even remember my grandchildren's birthdays better and never mix up my appointments. His son says, "Dad seems younger these days." In his hiking group, he memorized new trails faster than the younger folks. Now we look at the brain of the woman who loved reading. The synapse connections in her frontal and temporal lobes were like those of someone in their 30s. The activity in the areas handling language and emotion was 52% higher than her peers. When I read, I feel emotions, I imagine scenery, and I end up expressing myself better. My grandchildren asked me why conversations with grandma are so easy and fun. Her doctor said in surprise. Normally, emotional expression dulls with age, but in her case, it has become richer. And it doesn't stop here. The research team did another experiment. They created a group that combined both exercise and reading. They followed 300 people over 65 for 1 year, divided into 3 groups. The results were shocking. The exercise-only group's brain age became 8.5 years younger on average. The reading-only group became 6.3 years younger. But the combined group became 15.7 years younger. It wasn't just a sum. It was a completely new level of effect. The combined group absorbed new information faster, handled stress better, had a much lower risk of depression, and even improved sleep quality. International researchers reached the same conclusion. Exercise strengthens the brain's hardware. Reading upgrades the software. When both are strengthened, the brain becomes most powerful. Now, let's look at the concrete effects of exercise. First, brain blood flow increases. Just 30 minutes of walking raised blood flow by 28%. Especially toward the hippocampus. Like giving plenty of water to a thirsty flower. The brain revived with energy. Second, BDNF protein, called the fertilizer of the brain, increases. With exercise, this protein grows, strengthening cell connections and even generating new brain cells. Now, the effects of reading. First, cognitive reserve builds up. When we read, we recognize letters, understand content, visualize scenes in our mind, and organize them into memory. This activates multiple brain regions at once. Harvard researchers called this a small Olympics. Second, emotional intelligence improves. By imagining and empathizing with a character's feelings in a novel, the circuits managing emotions strengthen. Elderly people who read regularly had a 32% lower risk of depression. The case of combining both exercise and reading is even more dramatic. One woman walked for 30 minutes every morning and read for 30 minutes every evening. After 6 months, her memory improved by 32%, concentration by 28%, language skills by 41%, and problem-solving by 35%. It feels like I got a brand new computer. Now I talk easily even with young people. An even larger study was done. 1,200 people over 65 were tracked for a year. The exercise-only group had a 45% lower risk of dementia. The reading-only group had a 37% lower risk. But the combined group had an 82% lower risk. Changes in neurotransmitters were also amazing. Acetylcholine, related to memory, increased by 58%. Serotonin, which prevents depression, increased by 43%. The brain wasn't just younger, it was renewed. Real cases prove this. An elderly man diagnosed with dementia combined exercise and reading. After 6 months, his cognitive score rose significantly. MRI scans showed less brain atrophy and new neural connections. Another man in his 80s. He started with just 10 minutes of walking and reading a day. A year later, his brain age was 12 years younger. His insomnia disappeared. His grandchildren called him Super Grandpa. The World Health Organization called this dual activation therapy. 30 minutes of exercise, 30 minutes of reading a day. Move your body in the morning, open a book in the evening. Recommendations differ by age group. In your 60s, exercise a bit more vigorously. In your 70s, start light and gradually increase. In your 80s and above, safe walking and short reading sessions. Add diet, and the effect multiplies. Before exercise, nuts and bananas. After exercise, protein-rich foods. During reading, fish with omega-3, blueberries rich in antioxidants, especially cherry tomatoes, proven to protect brain cells. In fact, groups that ate cherry tomatoes scored 17% higher in memory tests. Now, dementia is no longer just a name of fear. Exercise, reading, and diet are the answers. One family proved it. They practiced exercise, reading, and a healthy diet for 6 months. And a miracle happened. The mother called her daughter's name again. For the first time in a year. This time, they cried tears of joy. Our brain is far stronger than we think. With proper stimulation, nutrition, and steady care, it can grow healthier even with age. You don't need to be perfect from the start. A 5-minute walk. A short fairy tale. A handful of cherry tomatoes. That is enough to begin. Remember, your memory is precious. Your health is possibility. And from this very moment, your new story begins.